So good afternoon once again, and I know this is lunchtime, but I'll try to be as interesting as possible, so increase your appetite for real lunch. Uh, when I was preparing this presentation, I was wondering what should I discuss about a concept which is nearly 4 decades old, 1978 we know primary health care, and how does it fit into universal health coverage. Considering the time allotted and the key point which I would like to highlight, I thought it will be a good idea that I talk about the contemporary times, which is the current discourse on sustainable development goals and also about universal health coverage, and let's see how the concept of primary health care fits into current discourse. So my presentation, which is short, is structured in 3 parts. One is SDG, then I'll briefly talk about universal health coverage. I understand that most of you understand this thing, but even then I would like to spend some time on those 2 aspects, then come to primary health care and its linkage. The key point is that many times when I speak on SDG, people ask, why do we need sustainable development goals? And the simple answer could be that every generation needs something to anchor their ideas. In 1978, there was primary health care, then came, at the same time, health for all, then came Millennium Development Goals. So when Millennium Development Goals were being discussed, I was in my medical school, and I could very well relate as those goals were being discussed and countries were working to achieve those MDGs. So 2015, when there are sustainable development goals, perhaps these are for new generation, where people who are mid-career or early career in public health, they can connect with sustainable development goals. So every generation needs something to anchor their ideas, and perhaps sustainable development goals are for all of us, but definitely for a new generation of public health practitioners or primary care physicians. Essentially, MDG and SDG are in a continuum. If we look at the MDG, we quickly know that there was focus on poverty, education, women empowerment, child health, maternal health, HIV, TB, malaria. Then there was attention on sustainable environment, and then global partnership. So those were the broad area that you talk about money or poverty, you talk about education, you talk about equality, health. So but these were the initial goals. How SDG are different from MDG? There are a few things that MDG were more of a top-down approach. UN agency led the process. They were developing country focus. MDG mainly focused that developing countries should achieve this thing. Health, education, gender received some attention, 8 goals. There were 3 goals on health, 21 targets, and approximately 60 indicators. SDG have benefited from the learning of MDG development process, and then this was a much robust process. Intergovernmental agencies, and then UN was supporting or playing more of an advisory role. SDGs are different, that while MDG were for only developing countries, SDGs are for all countries. There are areas of social, economic, environmental pillar, and there are 17 goals. 1 on health, 169 targets, 13 on health, and many indicators, other indicators are being defined. So the key point is that there is a movement from MDG to SDG, and then here we have 17 SDGs. One of the criticism of SDG that SDGs are too many, but that's not the point. We need to have, global community need to have what they want to do, whether it's being captured in 17 goals or some goals, that's a different point. So there are 17 goals, but let's look at these 17 goals in a different approach. They are clubbed in a 3 or say 3.5 broad categories. The first 6 SDG are mainly on social development. If you look at the poverty, hunger, well-being, education, equality, and water and sanitation, more of that, they are continuation of previous MDGs. So first 6 are on social development. You need to reduce poverty, then that's not enough. You need to feed people, because poverty reduction itself does not mean people who have enough food to eat. So social development, 6 goal. The next 6 goal are economic development. They talk about sustainable energy, affordable clean energy, economic growth, industry, reducing inequities between countries, within states, within cities. sustainable cities and communities. So second, economic. There is a lot of focus on economic development in SDGs. And then next three are on climate change or environmental protection, climate action, life underwater, life on the earth, land, forest, and all this. So that's how it is. And then all this is to build a strong institutions and global partnerships. So you will see there is a broad linkage. The key change is that there is attention on quality. Earlier they were focused on quantity only. There is quality. Targets are similar for all countries. All countries need to achieve this thing. And related to this conference or this meeting is that there is one SDG on health, which is SDG 3. Under this, there are 9 targets and 4 approaches to achieve this. I will not read this slide in interest of time. The key point is that target 3.8 is on achieving universal health coverage. So universal health coverage fits into a sustainable development goal context, and there is one target on UHC. And there are other SDG which have some health linkage. I will not go into the detail. Moving to UHC. This is one of the famous depiction of UHC, how universal health coverage is summarized. This cube talks about that countries need to achieve universal health coverage, you need to move in 3 directions, that increase access to the population. So if we look at the outer cube, on the x-axis, 100% of people have access to health services. So that's one aspect of UHC, access by 100% of people. Second aspect is to all the services. So all services should be accessible. And third aspect is that people should be receiving those health services at a cost which they can afford. So it doesn't mean that health services should be free. The only point is that they should be affordable to the people. People who can pay more should be paying more. People who cannot pay that much should be paying less. So there are 3 dimensions of UHC, and outer cube reflect what we accept, what we intend to achieve. So bigger cube is access to large number of quality health services at affordable cost. But the actual reality in the countries is what is inside cube, which means that only a fraction of people, only some people have access to health services, only some services are available, and only a part of or proportion of people receive services within their affordability. So UHC is a direction from moving from inside the inner cube to outer cube. So it's more than a final destination. It's a journey that you move from, if you only 40% of people have access to services, increase to 50, 60, 70, and that's how we should go ahead. So this is broadly UHC. I have already said this, these aspects which are written on this slide. Journey is more important rather than progressing, and all country can achieve. This can be achieved over a period of 10, 15 years, cannot be achieved overnight. In context of primary health care, I need not to describe to this audience that primary health care is relevant, but I want to highlight one speech given by Dr. Margaret Chan, WHO DG in 2008, at 30 years of Alma-Ata conference in 1978, where primary health care was discussed. And it essentially summarized everything which is UHC, primary health care, because this is efficient, it's fair, it's cost effective. Many of the illnesses, approximately 70% of the health problems could be addressed through primary health care, and that's why it's important. And the key issue is that the global consensus on primary health care, the Alma-Ata Declaration, there are technical and scientific evidence. This is a very famous article by Barbara Starfield published in Milbank Quarterly, which say that evidence are piling that health system based on a strong primary health care system are more effective and efficient than those based upon longer focus on specialty, larger focus on specialty and tertiary care. And so much so that to highlight the importance or bring attention on PHC, World Health Organization published World Health Report in 2008, where they talked about primary health care more than ever. Interesting part is that when we are standing in India, there is a global consensus. All the documents which are published say that there should be attention on primary health care. Starting from any committee report, any of the committee report, high-level expert group. So everybody agree on importance of primary health care for itself or for achieving UHC. I would not go into definition, but the key point is that the core philosophy of PHC is that provide services which maintain and improve health at the point where people can easily access. So the key concept in PHC, services should be close to the people as per the need of the people. And it's the entry point of services. Health services, we don't require hospitalization and complicated care. That's what makes it cost effective, efficient, and that's how health systems could be prepared or could be readied for achieving these services. But at the same time, these services does not mean when they are low cost services, they are close to the people, cannot be limited to only curative one aspect. They have to be comprehensive. So what could be delivered at community level close to the people, but at the same time they should be comprehensive. There has to be link between provider and the recipient of those services. They should be both people-centered population services and the coordination at various levels, health education. We know all these concepts. The key thing is that in today's discourse, mainly focus is going on either on curative services, but some of the other services, other areas are not being covered. And that's where we need to bring attention. At the same time, there is a need to differentiate that what PHC is not. Many times people talk about primary health care without knowing that is PHC not selective care or some cares and not restricted to treating common illnesses. It's not low cost or low quality or not non-professional care. PHC has everything of good quality. Only thing is that it's being provided close to the people. It's not cheap, affordable, therefore out of pocket. It's a good quality, but the mechanism needs to be developed. So I'm rushing this in interest of time. Primary health. So having said that, we understand the concept of PHC, but the challenge is that even in any of the country, the reality is that even in well-functioning primary healthcare center or system provides services mainly restricted to reproductive and child health. Even in India, when we talk about PHC, their focus is largely on child health, disease control program. Only 15% of morbidities are covered. And when primary healthcare system is poor, it puts pressure on tertiary care or secondary care system. So that's a reality where we have to work. WHO report, I'll skip this slide. In today's time, the key thing is that there is a need for major reforms on PHC. The reforms require that identify the area which are not being covered by quality health services, identify additional population, add additional services, strengthen primary healthcare system, and integrate all services which require public policy reforms, leadership. So there are many areas which need attention in these times. And this slide I skip again. So last two slides, what are the key specific critical aspects of PHC? PHC provides health services to whosoever need to be served, to gender, religion. So it's increase access to health services. It should be PHC, primary healthcare, ensure that it is accessible within the identified or agreed acceptable time period. PHC should ensure that services are available with sufficient assurance that if I tell somebody that these services are available at that facility and somebody reach there, those services should be available. Person should not be returning without availing those services because they are not available. They should be sufficiently wide range. They cannot be only some services, RCH services of acceptable quality and affordable cost. So these are the critical aspects of primary health care, and that's my point is. That's where PHC marries or PHC matches universal health coverage. Concept of primary health care talks about increasing access to services to the people with sufficient assurance, quality, affordable cost. And that's what concept of universal health coverage also talks about. Increasing access to the services, additional services, affordable cost. So those two concepts are clearly very much aligned to each other. So what is needed in current times to strengthen PHC? This is the penultimate slide. If we are making a case for PHC, we need to make a case that UHC, which is a global discourse, cannot be achieved, not possible unless the attention is given to primary health care. There is a challenge in developing countries that though people are trained as a primary health care physician, but they drift toward secondary or tertiary care. So there is a systematic mechanism required that people are retained in primary health care system, and that's the only way, rather than drifting to specialized care. And this would not happen automatically. The countries need to, governments need to, and even private providers, all stakeholders need to pay specific attention, which is not being given. So to conclude, the sustainable, at the larger picture, SDG are a global fulcrum of social development. Within that framework, UHC will be discussed in the years to come. And there is a global evidence, consensus, and clear understanding that UHC cannot be achieved unless you strengthen primary health care. And that's the point, and that's the time when, that's the argument we should use to strengthen primary health care, which will benefit everything, including UHC and SDG. Thank you very much.